So we get asked quite often, what do I do if my hound doesn't like going in the crate? And it's a really good question. The first thing to think about is their level of distress in the crate. If they are constantly barking, ripping all their bedding to bits, chewing, toileting in the crate, gnashing their teeth on the wires, I would definitely be talking to a behaviourist about your best options to go forward there. If it's just that they're whiny when they're in the crate, they're a little bit yippy or barky, or they are just protesting and not really wanting to go in when you'd ask them to, then I would push a little bit to help them settle in. The biggest thing we want to do is make the crate their happy place. So you can see we've done that a little bit here for Hayes. She loves her toys. Anything soft and squeaky is Hayes's thing. So we have a couple in here for her that she really, really enjoys playing with. And this is the spot where she gets to play with them. It works out really safe as well, because if we've got young children around, we're not going to have any instances with her snapping perhaps over the toys. She's not getting into mischief playing with the children's toys, and most importantly, if we had a second dog, we know that they're not going to have any scraps and rees or scout over their toys. So really, really safe way for your hound to have a play space and have that be their happy space in their crate. The second thing we want to do if your hound is into food is make the crate the place where they get their food. So I tend to pop our dogs out to the toilet while I mix their dinners up. I'll then put a little towel down, put their dinner in here on the towel, and bring them back in and pop them in the crate. So they're mentally, when they're going into the crate, knowing there's going to be something good in there to look forward to. Pretty much the same with the toys. When she comes in here, there's going to be a different sort of fluffy, squeaky toy for her to play and engage with. Other options can be chew toys if your dog's really chewy. You can have you can have food puzzles, are a really good option. You can have Kongs perhaps with peanut butter, homemade ice blocks. There's so many options that you can do to make that crate really worthwhile. The last thing to think about is the location of the crate. If we've got a crate in the very far corner of the house and you've got a hound that really values time with the family and feeling like he's a really social member of the family, it's going to probably be a bit of a party pooper for him when you chuck him in the crate down in the spare room somewhere. However, if you move that crate perhaps to somewhere where things are more likely to be going on, such as in the lounge, or if you work from home, you could move it into the office so he gets to spend time with people when he's in the crate. He's going to be much, much happier in there. The second thing to think about is if your hounds are kind of a more nervous, anxious type and are just struggling a little bit adjusting to a busy household, having the crate somewhere they can have their own space is probably going to be far more beneficial for them, and they'll quite enjoy being able to go and chill out in their own zone. So we do shut the crate doors to start with when the hounds are learning about things like toilet training and things like that. So we want to make sure when they're in the crate that they are happy and enjoying that time in there. The last question is overnight. Should I leave my hound in the crate overnight? I tend to, as long as they're reasonably relaxed and happy in there. If they're really unsettled and distressed, you've got lots of yipping or barking, you've got the option of moving the crate closer to where you are sleeping. So it might be the bedroom, or you could crash on the couch in the lounge or something for the first few nights while they're settling in, and it tends to make everything just help them. Remember, your hound's first night in a home is probably the first time in its life it hasn't got other greyhounds for company, so it's a huge change for them and something it can take them a while to adjust to. So if we take them home and just pop them in a crate, we can't really expect that they're going to go all too well there. We want to make sure we've set some time up to help them learn that the crate's their space and their happy space. Oh, good, darling. The last thing that I want to talk about is how we use the crate long term. For some hounds, it's a really important part of their routine and something they really enjoy. For others, they're kind of over it once they've settled in and they want it packed up and gone. And I think that's a decision you and your hound need to kind of make to find out what works for you. We really find the crates as a really valuable tool for crate training, for house training your hounds, from settling in to toileting, right through to your cat training, and most importantly, living with children. Having somewhere where the hound's nice and safe away from the kids is really important while they're adjusting to living in the constant noise and chaos of a house with young children. The last thing I want to just mention is if you've got a hound that's really reluctant to go in the crate but settle when they're in there, there's a lot we can do for that one. The first one is giving them a reason to go in, like we've talked about, whether it's with toys or food, whatever your hound's really into. The second one is just to be quite direct about it. Your hound's not used to being mamby-pambied. A kennel manager isn't just going to open the kennel door and offer your hound the option of going in there. They've probably got them on the lead and are quite firmly pop them in and say off you go. So keeping that kind of structure is a really good idea. If we've got a hound that's reluctant to hop into the crate, we'll generally walk them actively with the lead towards the crate, unclip the lead and direct them in and say off you go, and have a reason for them to want to go in here, whether it's a high value treat spread around or something like that. So we want to be balancing making it the happy place as well as being don't be afraid to be a little bit bossy if you need to start with. The last thing we want to make sure we're not doing is using the crate as a kind of convenient tool to start with. So I'm all for popping the crate in while you're making dinner and you don't want your dog jumping around in the pasta when they're not supposed to be in the kitchen, but at the same time make sure that you're not just popping your dog in the crate when you can't be bothered. So the dogs really pick up on that. We want to make sure the crate is a place they want to be, not just somewhere that it's out of the way for you. So it's something to be a little bit mindful of how you're using that crate and making sure that the dog it's not feeling like it's missing out of the fun. It should be the place where they're having the fun. Hey, sweetheart. If you have any questions, do get in touch and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Awesome. Thanks.